reflection and the process that we will do today. Now, coronavirus or COVID-19 has put our world in a man yesterday, 75 years old, and he said, in my life, I have never seen such a situation. The whole world has witnessed things that we have never imagined. Now, of all the difficulties, the unprecedented things that happened, I am going to kind of outline some of the psychological effects of the pandemic. There are a lot of sociological, economic, political, but I'm going to speak about psychological. One is there is so much of fear. There's a fear of getting infected. There's a fear of what will happen. There's so much of anxiety about how we are going to cope with us, how the world is going to face it. And not only the very virus, which is creating a fear and anxiety, the very lockdown situation. And the lockdown is something very unique. And many people have not been used to this mechanism. So the lockdown itself has creating a lot of psychological impact on people. And there's a lot of hardships because of this lockdown. In general, there is uncertainty and there's a helplessness. So if you take the psychological impact of this pandemic, there is fear, anxiety, hardships, the fallout of lockdown in various levels, uncertainty and helplessness. This is a situation we are in. And there is a rumor going that they are going to extend the lockdown from June 15th onwards further in some 10 states which are having this coronavirus spread in a higher rate. So there is so much of uncertainty and helplessness what to do in this. So our topic will speak about how to tap some of the inner resources we have got so that we can not only face this pandemic, but also to win over this pandemic. Now, how could we overcome this situation? This is a million dollar question, a big question before all of us. How we can do that? I'm just reflecting with you in this context. And in Greek philosophy, there's famous mythological bird called phoenix, and Tamil we call it phoenix. This phoenix bird is a great symbol of resilience, coming back to life from its ashes. The story, the mythological story goes this way. Phoenix bird is very much attracted towards the sun, and it wants to go closer to the sun because it's in love with the sun. And other birds are warning, other gods are warning, don't go closer to the sun will burn you. And phoenix is in so much of love with the sun, it goes closer and closer, and it gets heated, and at one moment the phoenix bird becomes ashes. But because it was in love with the sun, and because of that it got burned, the gods give the power that the phoenix comes back to life from these ashes. So phoenix bird is a symbol of resilience and power, and not to be cowed down by any kind of trauma or trial. In the same way, we have got something also in our country which is called banana tree. And banana tree has got a very unique character. If you cut the banana tree, the shoot will come, or a new life will come in half an hour to 1 hour. That's why in Tamil it is said, Vetti avarai etti parkumam valai. Vetti avarai etti parkumam valai. So the banana tree will never give up. It always, even from a small shoot, banana will have its life to come. So it is said, like the phoenix bird, like the banana tree, we need to bounce back when there is a trauma, when there's a trials and there are difficulties in life. And in fact, God has been gracious that He has given to each one of us this capacity within us to bounce back. These human beings also have a great capacity, like this phoenix bird and this banana tree. And a great example of this human power to bounce back is Japan. And Japan was bombed with the two atomic bombs in 1945. And August 3rd, 1945, Hiroshima was bombed. In 3 days later, August 6, 1945, Nagasaki was bombed. Even when they were dropping the bombs, Americans themselves did not know what would be the impact of it because they have never tested it in open ground. And the devastation is unimaginable. Even today, if you see some of the pictures, you cannot imagine the amount of catastrophe that the two bombs have caused. And this king of Japan, the emperor of Japan, he was telling during the Second World War, Japan will never ever surrender. Japan will never ever surrender. But after August 3rd and August 6th, when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, and that the devastation was unimaginable, the conditions were so pathetic that in 1 week time, the Emperor of Japan, he said, Japan surrenders unconditionally. Such was the devastation because the Emperor said, we will never ever surrender. After the bombing had happened, he said, Japan surrenders unconditionally. The whole world thought Japan is finished into ashes. Japan can never get up because such was a great devastation. But you know, Japan in 30 years, this is a picture of Japan. The whole world thought Japan will never come back. Japan will never ever rise. It is turned into ashes. But Japan in 30 years grew to be an economic superpower. So Japan in recent times a great symbol of this human potential to bounce back. As the phoenix bird to get up from the ashes, as this plantain tree to look at the person who cut it, such kind of resilience is within you and me. So now this COVID-19 has caused so much of devastation. And they say the impact of it, we are going to feel it day after day. So we need to bounce back. We cannot lie down. We need to face it. We need to win over it. The question before us, how and what are the ways? How we can bounce back and what are the techniques, skills and methodologies that we can bounce back. So I'm going to speak about the inner resources, the blueprint that God has given, which in general term, I speak about resilience. And I speak about this resilience in two levels. One is physical, one is psychological. All of us, you and me, have got this physical and psychological resources within us, which will help us like the phoenix bird, which will help us like the banana shoot to come back, to bounce back. The first one is the physical blueprint or the physical capacity. Now, in our blood, we have got something called white cells. And some of you are medical personnel, some of you are science teachers. You know that the natural doctors that God has given to us are the white cells. In our blood, we have got natural doctors who are there to protect us. And the responsibility of these doctors or the white cell is to save us, to safeguard us from sickness. Actually, these white cells are called the immune system. We are afraid of AIDS, not because AIDS is a sickness. AIDS is not a sickness actually. The sickness is AIDS will affect the immune system, which is our natural doctor. When that immune system is affected, even a small sickness can kill us. Therefore, we are so afraid of the AIDS disease. Now, these white cells, these natural doctors, the natural immune power that we have, and it is important that we have to enhance that. It is said sometimes when we quickly interrupt, for example, when we get a fever, actually the white cells are fighting to push this virus away. In that regard, sometimes when you get fever, it is a good thing because your body is building a natural capacity of anti-immune power, like to fight a virus. For example, if we get COVID-19 and we recuperate, our body develops some mechanism, immune power to face it, and we will not get it. The point is, God has given us natural immune power. Often what we do, sometimes we interrupt or we spoil this immune power. Have you seen children who are playing in the mud, who are playing in the dirt? Sometimes they are more immune and they do not get sick. But children who are very pampered, they get very sick. That's why the difference between broiler chicken and a country chicken. Broiler chicken, they are not exposed to any hardships and they don't have better immune system. But a country chicken has got a lot of hardships and they are having access to a lot of virus, in fact, and therefore their body develops immune system. Now the point is, during COVID-19, physically we must develop our immune system. This is what health personals are speaking about it, and they are speaking to drink kabasura kudinir. They are asking us to sleep more, asking us to eat properly, vitamin C tablets and things like that. This, they say, if our immune system is high, we can manage our this virus will not attack us. Now, I'm not going to speak about these physical aspects, but I'm going to speak about something that can enhance our physical resilience or immune system. The first one is I'm going to speak about fasting. What the eyes are for the outer world, fasts are for the inner world. As the eyes are there for outer world to understand, fasting is for the inner world. So the first fasting that can enhance our physical health is food fasting. It is said in the evolution, like human beings are evolving, in the evolution, we did not have food all the time. When we were as hunters, like when we were as human beings in the evolution, when human beings were in the forest, they were hunting, every time they did not have food. They had a deer one day and they managed for 3 4 days. For another 2 days, they could not find a food. So in that regard, in the order of evolution, our body is designed that it does not need food all the time. And somehow after this civilization, when we started agricultural based product, we got more food. But before that, man did not have food all the time. And that way our body is designed that we don't need to eat all the time. And fasting is part of our evolutionary system. When we look at animals, when they are sick, they are fasting. That's why when we get fever, one of the treatment that we need to do, we have to fast, because fasting gives a lot of rest for the internal digestive system. It is important that if you want to build the physical immune system, the natural doctors, the white cells, time and again, fasting is an important mechanism to improve our immune system. When we fast, it is said the digestive part is resting and unnecessary toxins that are being stored are easily pushed out. And it is said when there is a fasting, the unnecessary fat is burned. That's why people who are in diet, they have this mechanism of fasting. In Tamil, there is jokingly it said, Kandadayim Tindravan Kundanavan. So when we eat everything, when we eat too many things, now we not only become fat in our body, it is also affecting our mind, because mind and body or eating is very closely connected. So it is said we need to learn to fast the food. There are 16 hours fast, there are 8 hours fast, what it is all about. Now, actually during COVID-19, we are at home when there's a lockdown. We, hello, can I proceed?
You want to ask any questions, kindly ask.
Okay. So during COVID-19, we are not doing much hard work and things like that. So we can fast once in a week. A day fasting is very, very helpful. Now, if you are fasting in the morning, maybe you fast for a longer time. For example, you the previous night, you eat at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Better to eat some. So normally it's better to eat before 8, because at night, after 8, eating is not very helpful for our digestive system. So if you could eat the previous day, 8 o'clock, The following day morning you are fasting, and the following day 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock you are eating. You have fasted almost 16 hours. And for 16 hours, when a digestive system is empty, it can take a rest. It can remove the unnecessary toxins. So it's a very, very beautiful methodology of fasting. Some people will say, I have got a lot of acidity problem, I cannot fast. Maybe in the long run, fasting will be very helpful to you. Maybe you are having acidity problem because of tension, because of your digestive system is oriented towards digesting more. So fasting will help you in a long run. But for the moment, what you can do, like if you are unable to fast for 16 hours, you can take fruit juices, which are very light, or you can take water that will really help you. Now, you can say, I cannot fast at all. Fasting is very impractical for me. One of the things that they say, you can reduce the quantity of your food once in a week. So your mind will get used to it, and they say, okay, today it's a light one. Like, for example, generally you eat 5 idlis or 4 idlis, you reduce into 2 idlis. So in that regard, it is really helpful to develop a tendency of fasting occasionally. It is the more you are fasting, not only your body gets power, your mind also gets power. That's why it is said mental health and eating habits are very closely connected. A person who is impulsive, who is depressed, they tend to eat more. And a person who has got more control of their mind, their feelings, their emotional regulation, they are able to regulate their eating as well. That's why every religion says if you want to grow in spiritual way, spiritual level, we must learn to practice fasting. So often when we speak about fasting, we only think about food fasting, but it's just one aspect of fasting. There are two other fasting which if we could do, it will help us to develop our brain power and also physical immune system. The second fasting is called speech fasting. So the first one is food fasting. I am refraining from eating food. Particularly, I can refrain from eating junk food, unnecessary food, unhealthy food. Now, the second one is speech fasting. It is said when you are not speaking and you are silent, your mind is calm. And when the mind is calm, there's a clarity, there's a more patience, and one is able to make a better decisions. One is able to better grasp the situations around them. That's why all religions speak about silence in case you want to grow in your spiritual path. Now, we know silence gives energy to the mind, but how come silence gives energy to the body? Because we are speaking about a physical immune power, physical immune system. Actually, when I am speaking by the wind I have within myself. I am having oxygen inside my body. I am making use of this wind to make sound. So I am speaking because I am spending the oxygen that is within me. So when I speak, actually I spend my oxygen. Now, do you know that when I am speaking, I am not breathing. Whenever we are speaking, we are not breathing. In between the speech, we are having a gap. At the time only we are breathing. In other words, the more we speak, the less we breathe. So when you are speaking, what happens is a two-way mechanism. I am spending the wind that is within me and I am making a noise. I am wasting, so to say, or I am burning, I am spending the oxygen that I have within me. On the contrary, I am taking less oxygen within me. And it is important to understand our heart pumps because the oxygen goes from the lungs. And because heart pumps, the blood circulation happens. And oxygen is a foundational necessity for blood circulation to happen and for us to keep healthy. So in that regard, if you keep on talking and talking, and talking, we are less breathing, we are spending the oxygen within us, and we tend to have less blood circulation within our system. The less blood circulation we have within our system, the less health we enjoy. That's why if you're a professor, most of us are professors, we tend to speak whole day. You are a preacher, you are an anchor, you are speaking most of the time. If you are speaking most of the time, then you are spending your energy. So it is said, if you are speaking most of the day, evening 5 to 10 minutes, keep silence. Keep silence. The more keep silence, the more we are breathing inside more oxygen, and it's better for us. Now, some people say, தலை வெடிச்சிரும், எனக்கு பேசாம இருக்கவே முடியாது, சாப்பிடாம கூட இருந்துருவேன், ஆனா பேசாம இருக்க முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So in case you have got that mechanism, start with hours, 3 hours you don't talk. And you can increase that to 5 hours. I know a father who kind of fasts once in a week. Once in a week, like Thursday, the whole day he will fast. From morning till night, he will not talk to anyone. He will not utter a word. And he says, after that each fasting, after day of silence, the whole day, his energy is completely rejuvenated. So it's very important. During COVID-19, we do not have big activity to do. And as professors, we need to talk a lot when you are in this college. Now, if you have a chance, please do speech fasting. That will really help. And this is a very famous quote from Albert Einstein. He says, if success is A, if success is A, then A equals X plus Y plus Z. So if A is success, A equals X plus Y plus Z. X is, he says, work. Y, he says, play. Z says, mouth shut. So he says, if you want to be successful, you just work, play, and keep your mouth shut. Now, keeping silence is a very important help to improve your physical, your psychological system. Now, keeping quiet does not mean you are speaking in the cell phone, you are texting. You should not text. But while you are silent, you can read books, you can read whatever, you can also read your messages, but you cannot respond. Because when you respond, your mind starts to speak. So if you are able to practice for 3 hours, 2 hours, 5 hours, and it may be difficult, but once you do it, you will see the power of it. ரொம்ப ஜோவியலா சொல்லணும்னா வாய் சும்மா இருந்தாவே எல்லா பிரச்சனையும் பாதி தீந்துரும். So you are not talking, you are not eating, so you are not eating unnecessary things, you are not talking unnecessary things, your body will get recuperated, not just mind, your body will get recuperated. The third fasting is the thought fasting. The third fasting is thought fasting. Now, often when we think about eating, we think about food, but actually eating is also thought. Thought is also an important feed that we are giving to our body and mind. So 20th century is gifted with a lot of brain research. A lot of brain research 20th century is gifted with. And in 20th century, they have found out in brains how our brain is connected and how mechanism and operation happens in our brain. For example, in our brain, messages are passed by like blinkers. For example, we have got a serial bulb, and that serial bulb blinks. Like that, in our brain, anything that we understand, there is some neurons are blinking. For example, I'm speaking now, you are hearing it and you are understanding it, for which there is a lot of neurons are blinking in our brain. Now, for me to speak, my brain is blinking some neurons. This is called neural pathways. It is said the more neurons blink in a one particular way. For example, in one line, more neurons are blinking in my life often. That pathway becomes a automatic pathway. In other words, to say in simple words, the more negative we think, the more negative pathway our brain will develop. So it's said we have to be careful of what we are thinking. That's why Buddha beautifully says, the biggest enemy of a man is not outside. The biggest enemy of a man is his negative thoughts. So it is very important during this pandemic time to refrain from or to fast from negative thoughts. Now, people, it is said, more than the coronavirus, people are getting affected because the fear, anxiety, or the worry about. So it is said we need to be careful, but we need not be panic. There are some people who have got this panic that they are not always thinking, but they are worried. That worry, always concentrating on that, is the negative thought that people. So it's very important to refrain from negative thought, not only during this pandemic, but in general. And they said uh, it's a it's a hard thing for many of us. If you could avoid cell phone, TV, and paper, you are already fasting from 80% because it is said in our TV, in our newspaper, in our social media, there's 80% of negative. There are 20% positive, but 80% negative. And it is said if you want to do a thought fasting, please refrain from the cell phone, refrain from the social media, refrain. For example, you can practice this for 1 hour. You will not be using cell phone. It's very difficult for some people because for some people every second they need to check the cell phone. Even if there's no message, they want to just kind of put their pattern. They want to see the cell phone display and they want to close it. It has become a kind of compulsive process. So their mind is always in agitation. So it is very important that if you want to do a good immune system in your body, because the more negative we have, thoughts we have got, the more stress we build and it affects our immune system. So it is a very helpful tool if you could fast from negative thoughts, avoid cell phone, avoid TV, avoid paper. Now you may ask me the question, now we are avoiding the TV, we are avoiding the cell phone, we are sitting quiet, we are thinking about something, we are just reading, watching a bird or watching a fish tank or watching a flower or things like that. What about the negative thoughts that already have gone inside of me? Usually, when there's no negative thought, a negative thought that is already stored wants to come out because our body, our mind does not want to have negative. Our mind always will push away the negative stuff. The body like pushing like diarrhea, like vomiting, foreign object the mind does not want. It will push away. So when the negative thoughts comes, what? Replace it with positive thoughts. So if you think, I don't know what will happen to the job, just say something will turn out for me. If everybody can survive, I can survive. So replacing the already existing negative thoughts is one other beautiful way of improving your physical system. It is said we can have health through new thought and negative thought fasting. And please remember, you are feeding constantly, not only with the physical food. You and I are feeding ourselves constantly with the thoughts, which is also very important food we have. So if we are wanting to improve the physical immune system, they are speaking about Kabasura Kudinir, sleeping well, eating properly, putting mask, all these things. But I am just saying that these three fasting, food fasting, speech fasting, and thought fasting is a very, very helpful tool. And during this time, if you could give a try, and you will see how it can show the effect on you in a short time. So try food fasting, speech fasting, and thought fasting. This is about the physical blueprint that we can develop to. I'm going to speak about the next one. So this is what we spoke about: the physical resilience, the natural doctor, food fasting, speech fasting, and negative thought fasting. Then we are going to speak about a few other things that can improve yours. Like for example, being in the sunlight is found to have a lot of improvement in our immune system. Then regular exercise seem to have a lot of improvement in our physical immune system. And during COVID-19, if you could really find time to do some kind of physical exercise, that will be beautiful. Then if you sleep enough and properly, sleeping enough is 6 to 8 hours. Properly means early to bed, early to rise, avoiding cell phone before 1 hour, and not seeing cell phone when we get up. All these are sleeping properly. Those are, we have got a quality sleep. And the last one is eating properly. There are many things that can improve your natural immune system. These are the few things which can really enhance your physical immune power. So just now I'm going to move on to the next, which is psychological immune power, which we need to. So as God has given a natural doctor, I call this one, God has given a Shaktiman within our mind. You know, Shaktiman has got power. It always bounces back. It is got great capacity to overcome and difficulty. So as our body has got a natural doctor, which is called immune system, white cells, our mind also has got a natural resilience, which is called Shaktiman. And how to improve the resilience, I'm going to speak another three things that can help us to improve our resilience. First one is gratitude. Now we know gratitude is a good manner. It is called the magic word in English. And all cultures and religions instill this good value. And we often hear this gratitude is the best attitude. All these things we know. But what is interesting in recent positive psychology research, and if you have time, just to type into Google, research on gratitude or gratitude research. My God, you will find lakhs and lakhs of references, researchers working on the power of saying thank you. Now, what is one interesting thing that positive psychology and recent research have identified, that when I say thanks to you, a lot of interpersonal benefits happen. That we know. When I say thanks to you, you like me, you feel like doing more to me, friends like me, all these things we know. But when I say thanks to you, my health, my happiness increases. When I say thanks to you, my immune system increases. When I say thanks to you, I am living longer. That's very interesting. And it is found, if you notice the screen, that research have found there are 26 benefits. There are 26 benefits when we say thanks to others. And these are personal benefits. And they are grouping them into 5 major categories. One is emotional, one is social, one is career, one is personality, one is health. Now we know when you say thank you, you are having more good feelings, more relaxed, you are less envious, you have got happy memories, more resilient, and you have got more social benefits. You are more social, the health, marriage becomes better, more friendships, deeper relationship, kinder. Your personality is liked personality, like you are less materialistic, less self-control, more optimistic. All these things I understand about career, social, but this is very interesting to me, health. Now, when I am saying thanks to you, my health increases. This is very interesting. There's an improved sleep. The people fall less sick. They live longer. There's an increased energy. They are tending to do more exercise. How come? When I say thanks to you, my health increases? Very interesting. How come? Now, it is very important to understand this mechanism. Now, when do you say thanks to somebody? You never say thanks to somebody when somebody does a harm to you. Do we say, you are stamping on my feet, thank you very much? Do we say that? We never say. Sometimes we sarcastically say, you spoiled my name, thank you very much. You spoiled my name, thank you very much. But we never ever say thanks to somebody when we think that they have done wrong. Only when we judge that others have done something good to us, we say thank you. For example, even when there's a sickness, if you perceive that out of this sickness, something good has happened to you, you say, God, thank you. I got this sickness so that I am able to know who are my real friends. So it's very important to understand whenever you say thanks to somebody, your mind makes an evaluation, something good has happened to you. For example, you have to go for an important meeting, you are waiting for a bus, and somehow you miss the bus. Because you missed the bus and an important meeting you missed it and you are unable to reach. And you feel very bad because of that meeting being missed, you are losing big thing in your life. So you really feel bad and sad about missing the bus. After 1 hour, you hear that the bus met with an accident and everyone in the bus died. Now, what will you say for missing the bus? You say, thanks be to God, I missed the bus. Because whenever you perceive something good has happened to you, you say, thank you. That's why it is said, whenever you tend to say thank you, surely, slowly, your mind starts to think that something positive has. It is said, the more you think something positive has happened, something positive has happened, then slowly you become an optimistic person. It is said, Chittiramum kaipalakam sendamilum na palakam. The more you are doing something, the more automatic it becomes. It is said, the more you say thank you, the more your mind says something good has happened, something good has happened, something good has happened, then the more you start to see the positive things in your life. It's a very simple logic. Get up in the morning, say 10 times, this day will be hopeless, this day will be terrible, this day will be miracle, this day will be miserable, this day will be, all my problems will be there. If you think like that, it will happen. That's why when you go to a marriage party, they say, speak good things, mangalagaramага pesunga. Apna, the more you articulate positive things, the more you attract positive things in your life. That's why it said, when you are saying thank you and thank you and thank you are developing a new language in your brain of looking at the positive things, good things. So it is said, one tends to see the positive side of the story. Now, there's a white wall and there's a black spot. Which one we will see first? Black spot. That's what we have to see. If you are not seeing the black spot, something is wrong with you. Because in the evolution, we are trained to see the black spot. Because in the evolution, we are trained to see the threat so that we can protect us. So we have to see the black spot. There's nothing wrong in that. But many of us, what we do, we stop there. Only some of us only, after seeing the black spot, we are moving to the seeing the white spot. It is said, the more you are grateful, the more you have got a gratitude in your heart, the more you develop optimism, that in a white wall black spot, you first see the black spot, and it is good that you see, but quickly you move to the white wall. What is optimism? Optimism is not denying your problem. Optimism is amidst your problem, still having hope. Amidst your problem, still thinking that there's a way out. That is optimism. Optimism is not hiding your problems. Optimism is not closing your eyes to the problems. Optimism is facing the problem, still having the hope. It is said, if you are having gratitude in your mind becomes optimistic. Optimism is, no matter what comes, my mind will see the brighter side of the story. It will see always there is a glass half full. Now, it is same reality. It's half empty, half full. But how your mind sees only is the secret. Now, it is very important. We need to train our mind to see, because problems, COVID-19 is the pandemic is there, live about, afterwards there'll be some problem of layoff from the, or there's a tension in the working place, tension in the family, children don't obey. There's a lot of problem in life. But if you develop mechanism to see hope amidst your problems, you are not going to lose your happiness and joy. So it's very important to, so we need to see the good side of the story. And if you want to see the white wall after seeing the black spot, it is said, we need to have gratitude. And gratitude really helps people to appreciate life. Gratitude kind of makes people to transcend their difficulties. Gratitude makes people to be less complaining. It is said, the more you focus on your good things, the more you focus, the less you focus on your problem. That's why it's, if you are a believer, it is said, the more, when you start the prayer to God, if you start your prayer with thanksgiving, your petitions will decrease because you are focusing on what you have. That's why you are thanking God. If you start your prayer with thanksgiving, your petitions will reduce. If you start your prayer with petitions, you are focusing already on what you do not have. So gratitude helps people to focus on what they have and not on what they do not have. So it is very, very beautiful. There's a lot of research over there. For the sake of time, I'm just running to other aspects of it. But gratitude is it's not just a word. When you utter gratitude, it develops your brain, your mechanism of thought processes that really enhances you. So it is very important to feel that gratitude makes you happy. As I said, it is not happiness that brings us gratitude, it's gratitude that brings us a happiness. So we can cultivate gratitude. For example, on your birthday, you can do this thank you note culture. In some United States, in some of the schools they follow, once in a year, suddenly a teacher will bring 10 postcards. She will bring small 10 postcards and he will give that to the kids and say, write thank you to 10 people in your life. It could be anybody, your dad, mom, uncle, and grandpa, your dog, a person who cleans the toilet, anybody, you can write for 10 persons a thank you note. It is said we can do this on our birthday. On a birthday, you can do that. You can do on a particular day, you can write some thank you note for people. Or you can do this counting the blessings. You sit as a group and count how many blessings you have in your life. One mother told me, Father, in my home, children never pray. I was a little upset. Why she has to tell this as a proud thing? She's telling very proudly that my children do not pray at home. And she said, they don't pray, Father, but every day night before they go to bed, they have to say one good thing that they feel grateful in their heart for God. And I said, this is the best prayer you can teach to your kids. So sometimes it's very important to count the blessings. It is said, December 31st, let us not scratch our head. What is the thing that I have to thank God? No, no, no. Every day before going to bed, you can count the blessings. Or once in a week, you can count the blessings. In that way, it is said you can have a gratitude diary or a journal before going to bed. And it's also another interesting factor. Before going to bed, if you think about bad stuff, worries, problems, difficulties, what others have done to you wrongly, and it is going to disturb your sleep. That's why you spoke about sleeping enough, sleeping properly. If you want to sleep properly, well, if you want to have a good and deep sleep, think about good things before you go to bed. That will really help. And they also speak about ruminating exercise. What is ruminating exercise? That you kind of chew like the cow chewing, that you chew good things in your life. Most of the time we chew negative things. They said like that, they did like this. Whatever negative stuff people have done, sometimes we keep on chewing it. So it is important to find out. And we did a small research with some teenagers in Dindukal, gratitude intervention. The studies are very interesting. The teenage children, after going through this gratitude intervention of watching grateful movies, sharing about their sense of gratitude, writing gratitude note for 10 people, their love, their interaction increased with the parents. Their fight with the parents decreased because they started to appreciate it. Now, during COVID-19, you can develop a sense of gratitude in your mind, particularly to your loved ones. Now, how often we thank our loved ones? Quite a few times we say to loved ones, we should never say thanks. No, the loved ones never expect a thanks from us, but we should never forget what they do. When I go home, my sister is giving coffee to me, and I'm saying thanks to her. She says, Yanapa, you are saying thanks for all these things. I said, you are not expecting thanks, but I should not take for granted what you are doing to me. It is said we have to cultivate gratitude. You can sit as a home, you can just say two things about the other and say, I thank you for this. And it may look funny, but you start doing it, it will make a difference. One person told me that in my home, I started to say thank you. First day, everybody looked at me very strangely. Second day, third day, and they started to like it. Now, every one of us are doing this. It is very important to articulate our sense of gratitude to our loved ones, particularly parents, wife, husband. It's very, very important. Now, we can also create this culture of thanksgiving in our mind. For example, you are going in an auto, you are getting down, you are paying the auto driver. You can say thank you to him. He doesn't deserve it. Maybe you pay him. But if you say a thank you, it makes a difference in him. Now you are getting down from the bus after a night travel, and you are getting down, and you can look at the driver and say thanks to him. You don't need to because you pay him. But because he was awake, we were able to sleep well. The point is, the more we cultivate thank you in our mind, the more we are able to see the brighter side. Now, COVID-19 also has got a lot of beautiful things. Start to see the brighter side of COVID-19 and thank, because it has created a lot of new things. People are setting new values, new priorities, new importance to things that they have never ever thought it is important. So it's very important to see the brighter side of. So if you want to have resilience, not only during pandemic time, in general in life, gratitude is a very good tool. You can think about it. The second one is laughter. Now, um, if you want your inner resource to be built, not only during this COVID-19, but in general, you must be a person who is laughing. It is said, laughter is a unique quality to humanity. Now, there are animals who mimic or facial expressions like laughing, and they make sounds like laughing, like gorillas, orangutan, chimpanzees, and dolphins. But still, we are not sure whether they are laughing. But human beings are the only beings endowed with laughing. And laughter is very much connected to our health, because as soon as we laugh, our brain produces a chemical called serotonin. And this serotonin is important for our physical health. And this became very popular with one person called Norman Cousin. Norman Cousin is an American journalist. He was born in 1915. At the age of 43, he has a strange disease, and it's a degenerative disease that his muscles are slowly degenerating. He goes to the doctor with a excruciating pain all over the body. The doctor says, you've got a strange sickness that comes in 1 in 10 million people it comes. And this is a very strange sickness and there's no cure for it. Slowly your body will develop this degeneration and every part of the body will ache and you will slowly die. We have no treatment. And he said, is there anything? No, only we can give painkiller. And if you take a painkiller, you may die soon. Now, Norman Cousin was so dejected, so depressed, and he comes and a month he is spending in depression. And he says, I have got another 6 months, 5 months to live. Shall I die like this? Or shall I make the best use of it? Let me be happy. So he calls his sons and he says, can you buy some comedy movies for me and show to me? So Norman Cousin is given some comedy movies and he's looking at the comedy movies and laughing. And he realizes when he is laughing, his pain decreases. So he pays attention to that and he keeps on watching more movies. And the more laughter he has, the less pain he has, and he stops the painkiller. Without that, when he keeps on laughing, then his pain decreases. And he consults his doctor. Other doctors do not believe him, but one of his doctor believes him, and they run an experiment. So he's watching day after day, lot of comedy movies and keep on laughing heartily. And it is said, the doctor said he will live for 6 months, and he will die of pain. Norman Cousin lived for 26 years more after the doctors have predicted that he will die. And his was a kind of a foundational experience to explore the power of laughter for health and happiness. So it is said, only when we are laughing, our mind produces serotonin. Depressed people have got less serotonin. So in that regard, the best doctor in Tamil Nadu, do you know who is the best doctor in Tamil Nadu? The best and the famous doctor in Tamil Nadu is Vadivelu. The Vadivelu is the best and famous doctor in Tamil Nadu because he makes us to smile, laugh, and enjoy. And in that way, he is increasing the health of whole Tamilians by his laughter. So in that regard, it is very important to laugh. And it is said a child laughs 500 times a day. That's why children are energetic, children are healthy. And it is said, if an adult like you and me, if we laugh 15 times a day, it's a big thing, it seems. We are not even laughing 15 times a day. So it is said we have to laugh. And some of you might have already heard about these laughter clubs. Laughter clubs are there all over the world. And in India, it is gaining momentum. Every city has got a laughter club. They simply gather on a weekend in a park. They sit in a circle. They look at each other, simply keep on laughing. And it is said சும்மா சிரிச்சா லூஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்ப என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா நம்ம சிரிக்காம இருந்தாவே லூஸ் ஆயிருவோமா, because laughter has got such power. When you simply laugh, brain produces serotonin. It is said if you laugh heartily for 27 seconds, your brain produces serotonin. Now you may say, I am not very comfortable. எப்படி போய் சும்மா லூஸ் மாதிரி வட்டமா உட்காந்து கக்கப்புக்கன்னு எப்படி சிரிக்கிறது, I don't like it. If you say like that, now you don't need to laugh. You can kind of do this one in your room. You can do this one in your room. You don't need to laugh. You can push your muscles like this. Now it is said only when you are smiling your muscles will go up. That's why it is said when you are sad, ஏண்டா முகத்தை தொங்க போட்டுட்டு உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கிற, தொங்க போறதுனா your muscles are going down. Your muscles are going down. So when we are sad, automatically our muscles go down. அதனால தான் போர் அடிக்கும்போது கிளாஸ்ல இப்படி கண்ணத்துல வந்து கையை கொடுத்துட்டு இப்படி உட்கார்ந்து இருப்போம். ஏன்னா automatically our mind is pushing the cheek so that it produces some serotonin. So you don't, if you could join a laughter club, if you could laugh heavily, laugh, it's very beautiful. In the class முடிஞ்ச பிறகு கூட நீங்க வீட்ல கக்கப்புன்னு சிரிக்கலாம். வீட்ல நினைப்பாங்க கிளாஸ்க்கு நல்லா தான் போனா மென்டல் ஆயிட்டானோ அப்படின்னு நினைப்பாங்க. So it's, you can also tell them, and you can family as a family laugh during this COVID-19. Please, in that regard, don't see serial too much, because serial is making you to cry. Serial is making you to sad, to feel sad. Already our life is so full of problems. All the more serial is another worst thing. Watch comedies and laugh as a family. And if in case you are afraid, you are reluctant, you are feeling shy, just every day morning after brushing the teeth, in front of the TV, in front of the kannadi, a mirror, you just do this. If you do like this, your brain produces serotonin. I am doing every day and it is really helpful to me. You can also do that. And in case you are very shy and things like that, you are sitting and correcting the exam papers. So you can do this. This is called grinning. If you keep your face like this, like photo pose kudukra mari, you can paper. So if you are doing like this for 2 minutes, your brain produces serotonin. So a lot of neuroscientific research is proving that laughter will help you to overcome any problem. I don't know whether some of you have seen this Vasul Raja MBBS. There is this Prakash Raj as an actor, and whenever he gets angry, he starts to smile, he starts to laugh, because anger is neutralized by laughter. So laughter has got such a power. So in case you want to build in general resilience, any problems in your life that you want to get up, particularly during this corona time, you want to get up, please learn to laugh. Learn to laugh. நம்ம லைஃப்ல நிறைய கஷ்டமா இருக்கு, சிரிக்கவே முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லாதீங்க. நம்ம சிரிக்காம போனோம்னா லைஃப்ல சிரிக்காம போயிடுவோம். So it is very important to laugh. So laughter is another important medicine. 3rd May is considered as World Laughter Day. April 1st, we celebrate as Fool's Day. Let us not celebrate April 1st. Let us celebrate 3rd May, which is the World Laughter Day. And if you could laugh, so don't wait until May 3rd to laugh and smile and have fun. Please laugh and smile and kind of cream your face even today. That will really help you. The second thing is laughter. The third one that will build our inner resilience is prayer. I am not going to speak about this prayer more in terms of a spiritual term. I am going to speak this prayer more in a scientific term, more in terms of the brain mechanism. Now it is said every human being is like a battery. Like we have got energy, we have got power. Now we are spending this power, every day. It is said, as the battery is spending its power, the battery drains down. The battery drains down. And if the battery is low, there's no charge in the battery. What do? We connect the battery to the charger or this socket. Then the battery is recharged. In the same way, our human body, our mind is like a battery. It spends its energy. And we need to reconnect this energy, recharge this energy. And we have to connect to the nature or the divine. This is, I am not speaking in terms of spiritual terms, I am speaking in terms of physical and neuroscientific terms. For example, when you are tired the whole day working, night you sleep, morning if you have good sleep, you feel so energetic, you feel so fresh. What happened at night? At night, our entire system was connected to the universe. That's why at night we do not know what is happening. We are connected, we are one with the universe, we are one with the nature, and our body is rejuvenated. In the same way, our body is reconnected, our mind is reconnected when you look up a reality called divine, which you can call as God, which you can call as divine, or you can call as nature. There is a force behind us, and we need to connect to the force. So what I mean by prayer is time and again we need to connect to the force that is within us or that is beyond us. That is called that prayer, I mean. So it is said, if you want to increase your power, prayer is a power. A lot of research is showing that when people have cancer, when people have impending death, when they got a lot of pain, that prayer helps them to overcome their problems, difficulties, pain, and even cancerous issues. And it gives a lot of resources for people to overcome hardships. Now it is said, if you could pray, particularly COVID-19, same time is important technique. Same time is an important technique. For example, if you eat in the same time, for example, every day you eat at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, what happens? Your mind and body is ready to eat at 1 o'clock. Your body produces chemicals, your mind is ready to eat at 1 o'clock. In the same way, if you learn to set up time to be connected to the divine, to pray at the same time, every day, your mind and body will be ready to pray. And they say same time, same place will be all the more beneficial. And you can pray silent, you can pray with prayer reciting like a rosary or bhajan, or you can listen to a music, Sami Patada, play pani. So they say the more you kind of bring regularity, either through silence or through a particular form of prayer, your mind gets used to it. The third benefit is, third mechanism is, if you pray together as a family, for example, you hold your hands together, or all of you sit at one place and look at you, the divine power, Sami Pada irukkude, you look at that and you play music and you recite. So if you pray as a family and if you pray as a community, you are a connection. For example, when we share things, we are connecting intellectually in our mind. But when you are in silence, when you are all holding yourself in silence and praying for one cause, you are connecting at the level of your heart. That's why prayer, silence brings a heart level connection. Prayer is another important thing to build the resilience within us. So we spoke that prayer brings a lot of families closer, and this COVID-19 has got a lot of priorities are rechecked. People are searching for meaning in their life, particularly what they thought has been that important is not so important. People are getting used to it. So in that way, prayer is bringing new mindset into people. So COVID-19 and prayer is a very helpful tool. Now, we spoke about within our psychological self, no matter what happens, like a phoenix bird, like the banana shoot, we can get up. The Shaktiman, நம்ம எல்லாருக்குள்ளே ஒரு சக்திமான் இருக்குது. Power, blueprint. If you develop gratitude, if you keep on saying thanks to people, if you develop laughter, if you develop prayer, and your Shaktiman will be very powerful. And no matter what happens, you will be able to bounce back and you'll have the power. So we spoke about the inner resources or the inner blueprint in two levels. One is physical, that is food fasting, speech fasting, thought fasting. And if you do that, your physical immune power develops along with the sunlight, along with the exercise, along with the proper sleep and proper diet. In that way, you also have psychological resilience or Saktiman, which you can develop by gratitude, laughter, and prayer. So, dear friends, we are within the context of pandemic, and we can do this physical and psychological resource building, and it is there within you and me. And if you start to do this, it will be helpful not only for COVID-19 to face and to win over it, but in general in your life, you will be a very resilient person. For some of us, immune power is very high. அவங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு நோய் எத்தனை வைரஸ் நோய் வராது. அது மாதிரி we can build our physical immune power not only for pandemic COVID-19 but in general. You can also build your psychological resilience. Some people, no matter what happens in their life, they will get up. ஒரு நாளைக்கு இருப்பாங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் எந்திரிச்சிடுவாங்க. சில பேருக்கு they are like soft and tender. சின்ன ப்ராப்ளம் they are broken. So it's very important to develop your physical and psychological. So I'm giving a kind of tools and techniques that are really, really helpful. But if you could practice it, it is going to show you greater power. So we need to bounce back in general in our life, like the phoenix bird, like the banana shoot, not only during this pandemic time. So please work on that. That will really, really help us. If you have got anything further, you can reach me in this email ID, lalacaps@yahoo.com. And I just stop here. I think there's some question hour. So here I stop my presentation. So I wish that during this pandemic time that we can bounce back using the inner resources that we have. One is the physical inner resources. Second, the psychological inner resource, that we can become like the phoenix bird and this banana tree. And these are the things that we can do: food fasting, speech fasting, thought fasting, gratitude, laughter, and prayer. I just stop the sharing here and over to Father Martin for organizing the question answer session.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to ask to Father.
Down. Sorry, I went off. I think my internet was down. So I think when Dr. Tilagavadi has got a question, she has raised the hand. You can, Dr. Tilagavadi, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Father.
Yes.
Good evening, Father.
Good evening.
Your section is very informative and very thought-provoking, Father.
Thank you.
That physical resources and psychological resources. Today only I hear that two type of resources, inner resources within me.
Yes.
So hereafter we follow what you said.
Oh, good to
very
hear.
Interested, Father.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
So somebody asked if is COVID-19 create any impact in education field? I think definitely yes, and it is going to make a big change. I am not very qualified to respond to that question. There are some educationists among us, they can better speak about it. But from a psychological perspective, it is going to change the way we are going to teach and interact with the students. And they are saying that with the COVID-19, what was predicted, that they were predicting in 20 years there will not be real classrooms anymore, that people will be learning things from their rooms. They will never go to school, they will never go to colleges and universities. I think COVID-19 has accelerated that. And people feel like learning through online virtual than real time. So I think COVID-19 is going to make a big impact on the educational field. Other aspects of this pedagogy, I think there are other experts that they can answer. Could you explain a little more on speech fasting? Speech fasting means we don't talk unnecessarily. Sometimes we tend to talk too many things, too much. So one level is you are speaking and you don't speak unnecessarily. Sometimes பொறுத்தார் பூமி ஆழ்வான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Sometimes பேசுறதுக்கே பொறுத்து பேசலாம், உடனே பேசுறதுக்குலாம் ஒரு நிமிஷம் கழிச்சு பேசலாம். So this is called practicing speech fasting. Now at the higher level, whole day you don't speak at all. If you don't speak at all for whole day, your mind becomes very clear, because when you are speaking, your mind is active and agitated. When you are calm, your mind calms down. And physically, when you are speaking, you are spending a lot of oxygen, which is very important for body. Secondly, when you are speaking, that we are not breathing or we are not taking oxygen. So it is very important. It's very important that speech fasting enhances our health. In case you have got a question, you can unmute your mic and ask, and then please mute your mic. So before they are asking a question, hi, Father Brito, nice to see you, Father.
Over to Father Principal. Over to Father Principal.
Please unmute your mic and speak, Father.
Father Lawrence, good evening.
Good evening,
Thank
Father.
you so much for your wonderful speech. I would like to raise a question.
Yes,
Now,
Father.
students are in a kind of a dry season, and they have some kind of a monotonous behavior, say getting up in the morning, and most of our students are from the rural areas. So they have to go for some kind of a, even grazing, cattling they have to go. Take the cattle out and stand on the sun and come back in the evening sometimes. You know, some of our students are using their mobiles now. From there, they are attending the webinars. I can vouch for it. And some of our students are there, some, you know, therefore the mental activity as such has gone down. Now, suddenly, if the government says July onwards, you are going to have exams, then you are going to start your mental activity. The academic session will begin. There's some kind of a sudden start of the whole your physical system, the mental system, everything going to be there. So what will be your suggestion to make ourselves active and get into the normal system?
Actually, I see this sudden stopping of mental and physical system is the needed rest that we all wanted. So stress is a big phrase that every one of us you were using. We are stressed, we are stressed, we are stressed. Now, that's why I often say to people, friends, that it's a God-given holiday which we'll never ever have. So first tell and educate your students to enjoy this holiday. Enjoy your holiday. So
Enjoy.
it is a very nice.
Yes,
So
yes.
one thing is lockdown is extended, economic, financial issues are that we understand. But other than that, it is a beautiful holiday. So ask your students to enjoy it. And this sedentary, I would understand as is preparing yourself for better activity. For example, the cat, before it is catching the prey for action, first it will relax the body. And before it will jump, they say the cat has got the body so relaxed so that it can jump. So if our students know that this relaxation is going to make them to run, and they are going to do it, it's not going to be a big problem for us. Now, what you can tell your students going for grazing, ask them to think about the field, enjoy the nature. So that is very important. Sometimes what happens, we are in a beautiful context, but we are thinking about the problem. So it's a pity that we go for a picnic and we think about the assignment to be done. Then better not to go for a picnic. Better not to for a picnic. In that way, please motivate your students to rest and relax. And the more your students are consciously resting and relaxing, and need to come, their mind is ready because they have rested, they are relaxed, their body has got enough stored up energy, they will run. They will run. So I don't think it will be a problem, Father, if they make use of it positively. Do I answer your question, Father?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father. Thanks so much.
Then one person has raised the question whether sleeping will enhance fasting and speech fasting. Good, but see that you unnecessarily sleep and become fat, because unnecessary sleeping is also rusting your body. So I would suggest all night, so go to bed early. Research have found if you go to bed late and then get up late, it is not good for you. Because in the entire nature, everything goes with the sun and gets up with the sun. Only we creatures are spoiling the rhythm that has been evolved in billions of years. So if you are, just because you are on holiday, you are in lockdown, the best thing to do, go to bed by 9:30, 10. For some people, it is the hardest thing in life to do. Go to bed at 9:30 and 10, and you see how your health increases. There is a doctor I know, when you go to him, first he will ask, what time do you sleep? If you say you sleep at 12 o'clock, he will say, don't come to me, I cannot treat you. And he says, if you sleep properly, your life will be better. So in that regard, you can sleep. It will increase your thought fasting, but don't sleep after eating whole day. Don't sleep out of time. That will not be helpful. Jokingly, it is said, when he is sleeping, he is a saint. When he is sleeping, he is an angel. Because so sometimes sleep helps, because when we are sleeping, we are not doing bad stuff. So the question is a very good question, but please don't sleep unnecessarily. That will spoil it.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay, so they speak about there is a connection between physical and psychological. Can you explain more about the interplay? Yes, you cannot separate physical and psychological. That's we have to thank the neuroscientific researchers, brain researchers that are shown that body and mind are one. If we are not paying attention to, that's why college education situation must increase meditation, must also increase play. Unfortunately, CBSE schools are 10th plus 2, they are increasing the learning. They are not giving enough time to play. And for a 10th standard student, 12th standard student, playing is a sin. It is how we treat. But if they don't play, they are not going to study well. So your question, Paniti Naresh, your question is important, that it is important to play, and children have to play. How far can we convince others, especially our own parents, to relax or to exercise? maybe we have to repeatedly tell them, we have to show to them evidences so that slowly parents and the children are relaxing and doing exercise. And you create fun activity. I saw during the lockdown, children, they created on the terrace with தவறது ஓடுறது உட்கார்றது வட்டமா போட்டிருக்குது. So they create fun activity through which they are telling the children to. So don't ask the children to relax or do exercise through advising. You start with that. You play with that, so that finding creative methods to make them to do will be of helpful. I think I am just answering all the questions.
Yes, yes.
Is thought fasting possible for all the time, Father, nowadays? I didn't understand the question. Tilakavati, could you please ask? Nowadays, thought fasting is not possible. Thought fasting could be done. Thought fasting could be done. சில சமயங்களில் மீட்டிங் போட்டிருக்காங்க, அந்த மீட்டிங் மொக்கையா போட்டிருக்காங்கன்னு வச்சுங்களேன், உங்க மண்டையை க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிருங்க. நீங்க அப்படியே உட்காந்துக்கிட்டு நீங்க அங்க சொல்றதை கேட்கறது இல்ல. ஸோ யூ ஆர் ஃபாஸ்டிங். ஏன்னா சம்டைம்ஸ் நெகட்டிவ், அடுத்தவனை பத்தி குறை சொல்றான், புறணி பேசுறான், அவன் கேட்டா சில பேருக்கு அவன் பக்கத்துல போனாவே வெறுப்பா வரும், புலம்பிக்கிட்டே இருப்பான். we have to practice thought fasting with them. ஒரு புல்லட் ப்ரூஃபை கொண்டு வந்துடணும். இவன் சொல்றதை நம்ம கேட்கவே கூடாது அப்படின்ட்டு கேட்கிற மாதிரி நடிக்கணும். So we can do thought fasting, because it's very dangerous to be with negative people. They will inject, they will put கொஞ்சோண்டு விஷத்தை கொடுத்து, கொஞ்ச நேரம் விஷம் குடிச்சிருங்கன்னா குடிப்பீங்களா? குடிக்க மாட்டீங்க. ஆனா கொஞ்சோண்டு விஷம் தானே குடிச்சிடலாம்ல? இல்ல, அதே மாதிரி negative thoughts are like poison. We need to avoid these people, and we need to kind of protect us, and we have to fast. I think I have answered all the questions. Father Martin, would you like to ask them whether they have got some more questions? Father, how to manage kids below 4 years at home? Very difficult. Now you create physical activity for them. Physical activity. See, if the kids are playing, they are going to be, because they are full of energy, and you say sit down, they are not going to sit down. So if you could create some physical activity, that's a beautiful thing. I know some couple, they are making the kids to do 20 sit-up, 20 skipping. And the kids, once the energy is drained, they eat nicely, they sleep nicely. So please make them to engage in physical activity. Physical activity. Put some dance in the TV. Ask them to follow the steps. So dancing, jumping, physical activity is one of the important ways. Now there's another question. What are the other ways we can give awareness to the people? There are, I don't know, it's a general question. We can find many ways. Do you have any idea in your mind? You can also share that. Father Martin, it's going to be 4:30, and you want to ask them any questions anymore? If no questions, shall we take a moment to kind of organize in our mind how we can follow some of the things in a practical manner in our home. For example, you can sit as a family and you can say, please say one thing that you can say grateful to God. You can make a list. So there are 5 people, so 5 things, and you put in your kannadi, you put in your fridge. There are 5 things that we, or you sit for dad and mom and things like that. Say 2 things that you feel grateful about the other person. In case you stand and you call your dad or mom, your wife or husband, and say the 2 things I feel grateful to you in my life. And this week you can plan to watch a comedy. Don't be serious too much in life. We have to enjoy life. So have a comedy, and there are some people who are taught in their childhood, "Romba sirikkada, sirichina aluga vendi varum." No, we have to laugh, we have to smile. So it is very important to smile. Maybe tomorrow onwards, after brushing the teeth, you can do this. You can kind of post room. So the point is, it is not important that we kind of learn these physical and psychological resources, but we have to start to put them into practice. Tomorrow morning, you be in sunlight for sometimes. Being in the sunlight also helps us. So in that way, try to pick up one or two things that you think that will be helpful to you, and make use of that. That will really, really help us. So once again, I'm just showing these 6 things of blueprint, that is physical, food fasting, speech fasting, and thought fasting, and psychological gratitude, laughter, and prayer. If you could kind of look at it in some ways, I'm sure that we can bounce back like the phoenix bird and this banana shoot. I wish all the best for all of you for your attentive participation and the beautiful questions you asked. A special word of thanks to Father Martin for inviting me, and the principal, and Father Brito. It has been a joy to see Father Brito after so many years. Nice seeing you, Father Brito. Thank you, Father. Over to Martin, Father.
Yes, Father, I take this opportunity as the principal of the institution to thank you so much for your availability for this webinar. And actually, earlier we had your session with our faculty members. We were so much impressed, and therefore we want to have you for our students as well as the other public. So thank you so much, dear Father, for your wonderful presentation. It was so relevant, it was so meaningful. Therefore, I would like to thank Father Lawrence Sussinathan for his wonderful presentation. It was a very practical session that we had. You have given number of practical tips, like fasting and saying thanks to other people, the sense of being grateful to others, gratitude that you're insisting on it, and also the element of laughter in our life. These are the 3 things that in practically, if we can do it, certainly it is going to enhance our personality. Very interestingly, you have given us all the practical steps that how to enlighten or enhance our personality through these 3 elements: laughter, fasting, and saying thanks, gratitude. These are the 3 elements certainly we will have to practice. Wonderful presentation, Father. So thank you so much on behalf of the students, on behalf of the faculty, on behalf of all the participants. We would like to thank you. Thank you so much, Father.
Thank you, Father.
I would like to also remember special. Yes,
One
Father.
question they have raised.
Yeah.
When I am fasting from thought, negative thoughts come and I am unable to change the negative thoughts. I become bitter. How can I help? Now, if the negative thoughts, if you are unable to, at least you can think you have faced that negative. The problem is that still you're not gone mad. Sometimes people come to me for counseling and they say so many problems. I say, I'm so sorry to hear about all the problems, but I admire at you that you have not gone mad. In that way, sometimes there is always a brighter side of the story. So if you make an effort, you can see the brighter side of the story. The problem is not over. The problem is still there, but you can say, still I am alive. Still I can face it, or it is becoming a stepping stone. Not yesterday, not today, tomorrow I may be able to face it. So you are turning things into positive. In other words, it is possible to see a brighter side of the story. It is possible. It is possible. It is not impossible. It is difficult, but if we make an effort. So in case you need more information, more support, you can mail to me. So you have the mail. I will share this PPT with the Father Martin, and he can share this PPT to you. Sorry, Father Brito, you carry on.
Yes, Father. And I would like to remember Father Martin very sincerely. It was he who took the initiative of conducting you and organizing the whole webinar, and he was continuously in touch with you. So I would like to thank Father Martin. Martin, thank you so much for a wonderful organization. Along with him, the technical support was given by Mr. Nicholas, and he was there in the computer room, computer lab. He is there. So I would like to thank other staff members who are here and the other co-working staff. And I would like to also remember there are 2-3 principals here in this webinar, like Father Brito from Vettavulam, then principal of Ignatius College of Education, Sister Nimi Devi. Then we have also Sister Magdalene Teres, the Secretary of Ignatius College of Education. And then also we have Father Anthony Raj, the Principal of Loyola College of Education, Jamshedpur. He is there participating there. Then other professors from other colleges. So I would like to thank all those prominent, eminent personalities who have taken time to join us in this webinar and appreciating our effort. So thank you so much. I would like to thank all the participants, including my students and all students from other colleges, for coming to our campus through this webinar, through this Zoom mode. And certainly we hope this kind of exchanges will help us in going forward, in getting ourselves lifted up from all the other challenges, so that we are able to face the challenges, face the future in a better manner. So once again, I thank Father Lawrence Susiraj, Father Martin, and Father Mr. Nicholas, and all the other people for a wonderful presence and wonderful help. Thank you so much. May God bless us. Thank you. Over to Father Martin.
Dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form. Dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form.
Martin, kindly give them some time. The link, let it be there in the screen for some time.
Yes.
Thank you, Father.
I think Father Martin, can I take leave of you from the meeting?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.